guys, here is a Unuiqeware 16-inch oscillating 3-speed wall fan from 2010. Not sure what the model number is. I'll probably do some research and provide the model number in the title and in the description down below. Now, this is something I bought from a yard sale on Mother's Day. I was heading somewhere to get a gift from my mother, and I checked out this one yard sale. This was part of that yard sale for $10, and I was kind of debating whether I should take it or not, because it was Sunday, and then usually on Sundays there might be some interesting things that I could find in the trash, but I was about to head somewhere else, so I said, why not? So it's in relatively good condition, and for 2010 this fan is very good quality, because 10 years prior this fan was actually one of the cheapest fans to come out before the mid 2000s, when even more cheaper fans started coming out, such as the Comfort Zone and other brands. But yeah, this one is decent. The grills are actually very sturdy on this. They don't flex or anything. The blade is quite smaller in size, but either ways, it does blow a good amount of breeze. This fan is pretty much one of those bootleg Duracrafts that this one company made. I think it was Guangxing. And they made a bunch of other brands, such as the Arctic Wind, Windstream, some of the Breezing fans, some of the Cool Breeze fans, and Weatherworks for sure. I think Weatherworks was the first one to, the first of those bootleg Duracrafts to be made in the late 90s. But yeah. Well, these are cheaply made fans, of course. Has a handle in the back, which is relatively thin. Your bootleg Duracraft motor cover, this is actually based on those, the stand fans. They didn't use the motor cover meant for the table fans or the remote control stand fans. But this is what they use. They don't use the square push button control. The toe side fan actually does, which is strange. I switched it out because the original one was quite iffy. Now this fan went through a lot of work, and you probably could tell from that guard nut that is black in color. I swapped the motor shells. That's the first thing I did. Well, actually no, the first thing I did was swap that neck bracket. The original one was cracking up from that portion in there, so I had to remove it. And also the original gearbox, despite it being made of metal, it was having a ton of issues. The fan would stay stuck in this one position, and it probably also had to do with the size of the oscillator rod itself. It originally had its pull cord, but it broke off, so it's just switch control at this point. And unlike last school, you could actually twist this back and forth with a lot of ease too. You don't really have to force it backwards, and it's pretty much in a position too. Now this is the base used for it, and this is pretty much reminiscent to the table fans that they had back in the early 2000s, which was discontinued at this point in time. And of course, to show you, that is the Unuiqeware badge. Now I'm very familiar with this badge because I actually had a twin window fan back in the day. This was 2012 when I bought it, and it was probably it was not a bad fan, but I kind of didn't like it because of the performance. This one though is quite a lot, I would say it's a lot better, even though of course it's a quite cheap fan. But either way, so let's start with high speed. While the airflow is quite strong, I'll just pause this real quick. Alright, I am back. Came with an airflow tester. And, you know, despite it not being very strong, like the older products, this is actually relatively decent for 2010. Because, you know, at this point in time, the only good wall fan was probably the 3016 made by Vasco, despite the whole balance issues with their blades. Yeah, this one is probably like the best alternative available, because I don't think there were many wall fan alternatives. Unless we're talking about the Hurricane models made by Medea, or I'm not sure. I don't know what other fan. Because at this point, Comfort Zone was making cheap fans, of course. And the balance is actually relatively decent. Yep. Has a very good amount of airflow change as well as the speed. And it is relatively quiet too. No. And low speed is definitely where the balance kind of shows, because it is shaking quite a bit. So we can take a close up at this. I don't know if the camera is actually capturing the balance, but it is quite off clock a bit on the low speed. Now, another thing, the Comfort Zone, the family of the Comfort Zone is actually a slight bit thinner than this one. This one's a bit thicker. So it's kind of strange how both of these fans, they have the same blade set, but they're made very differently. Now, the manufacturer that made the oldest Comfort Zone fan I have, they also made some of these Unuiqeware fans as well, and they were also involved in making fans for WeatherWorks as well. Because I have seen stand fans with the same appearance as the Comfort Zone. Alright, let's test the oscillations. Yeah, this gearbox is actually a lot better compared to the original one it had, because the original, as I said, it had a bunch of issues with it, and it was driving me nuts. Yeah, this definitely oscillates a lot better now. Oh yeah, and also about the tilt adjustment now. For some reason, these bootleg Duracrafts, they tend to have this thin piece of metal, and they pretty much drill a hole in it with threads. But these are probably the worst type of tilt adjustment methods out there compared to the one I just placed in there, which came from an older Holmes fan, by the way. But these tilt adjustments don't hold up. And, you know, people would be tightening all the way, and then they would strip them out, and then, you know, they just take it off, and they just discover that it's a thin piece of aluminum, just, you know, drilled with a hole in it. So I pretty much took it off, and now the tilt adjustment is actually a lot better now. It actually stays in place. Yeah, this is definitely better performance. Alright, let's shut this off now. And let's see the spin down timing. Yeah, that spin down is very good. Yeah, this fan is wobbling quite a bit as well. But yeah, there you have it. That is the Unuiqeware 16-inch oscillating 3-speed wall fan from 2010.